Last time when we met, we were at Work Tour with a Second Law Tour with the big factory setting.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Then the album was more of an environmental kind of
Yeah, okay.
stuff that you're talking about. This time it's even more political with drones. How important is that to have that kind of current affairs reflected in music?
I don't think it's essential, but I think for me it's a case of it's just a reflection of the things that I'm interested in naturally. You know, I think for me there's only so many songs you can write about personal experiences, like personal life, you know, love, emotions, and things like this. For me, I have other things I'm interested in as well. So I like the songs that I'm writing to reflect all of my interests as well as my experiences. You know, so I'm not doing it from a necessity. I think I'm doing it because it just reflects my own interests. Yeah.
Yeah. Is it something that is there a message that you want to give the public as well? Because it's something perhaps they should be afraid of?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't have a clear sort of conclusion myself as to what what is right or wrong, you know, but I think I'm discovering it myself as I'm growing and learning things and writing songs, and there seems to be a general theme in a lot of the songs, this album and all the albums actually, about just to do with the general mechanization of humanity, you know, like sort of how we've been industrialized, in introduction of artificial intelligence, how technology affects our ability to connect to each other and to feel emotions and things like that, you know. So that seems to be a theme that emerged over the last two albums. I guess if there was a message, I think it's just to beware. I guess, you know, beware of in this album is obviously talking about drones and artificial intelligence being used in warfare, you know, and how dangerous this can be, because often the cutting edge of technology is first seen in war. You know, sad but true. You know, like, so we see, you know, drones have been used for like the last 15 years in warfare, and now we're starting to see them being used more for like fun and everything. But for example, so that would be my in the future. I'm thinking, like, as in the next music things would be like, I'm interested in artificial intelligence, you know, because already you see a lot of the implementations of being used in warfare, which is quite scary. So, but as time goes on, it seems to be a constant sort of degrading of human thinking and a sort of promoting of machine thinking, you know. Yeah. And I think that's the sort of I'm skeptical about that direction.
Skeptic or scared?
Skeptical. I think because I think there's an assumption that efficiency is the best thing, you know, and I think this assumption might be incorrect, you know. I think you know, humans have this built-in assumption that doing something faster or more efficiently is obviously better, you know, and I think that there's a sort of a part of human nature where we feel this might not be wise, you know. There's something about it. There's something that's lost by assuming that efficiency is the best thing, and so what was the question? What was the question? I veered off.
If you were scared of that possible future where everything is more industrialized and more tech savvy, but in a bad way.
I think it's, you know, the missing part with efficiency and mechanization of social organization being put together in a mechanized way, very large centralized governments like the European Union, for example. You know, these things they all have some advantages, but they have disadvantages for, I guess, the sort of the small individual. You know, like the sort of, and they also seem to have they sort of treat humans like a mass rather than individual. You know, so I think that's it's almost like technology in some ways is kind of like the emergence of what we were all scared of from communism, like back in like sort of many decades ago. You know, the power of the individual seems to win, you know, like through the West and everything. But I think in the modern times, it's almost like technology itself is reintroducing this efficiency, this method of treating humans as a mass rather than an individual. And I think the thing that gets lost in those types of setups is empathy. You know, the feeling of it becomes very easy to do bad things. You know, like a small example is you know, bullying is much more easy on the internet than it is in person. You know, so a lot of kids suffer much more with really intense bullying that probably wouldn't happen in face-to-face. You know, in a face-to-face it would be a certain type of bullying, but on the internet, when there's this distance created, it can become much worse. You know, so I think that's the danger of as all of these technologies creep in, and as artificial intelligence starts to creep in, we could be seeing the emergence of a different species, you know, different an evolution, sort of moving away from human beings, you know, and something else taking over. And yeah, I guess, I mean, is that scary or not? I don't know. It's difficult. We don't know where it's gonna end, you know.
No.
But I think there's assumptions which are dangerous. You know, the assumption that it's okay is a dangerous assumption. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of technology used in the show as well.
Yeah.
Drones flying over people's
Lots of
heads.
artificial intelligence as well.
Yeah, it's like you really want to confront people with what's possible in the future, no?
Yeah. We've always used you know, the latest techs and things like that, and on this show we have autonomous moving flying objects. I think I'm not sure if we have everything here, because I think the shape of the venue means there's some things we can't do, but we'll see.
Okay.
But it's but yeah, we like you learn from interacting with things, you learn from doing things, you know. So it's not until you start to sort of work with this technology that you realise yeah, how difficult it is sometimes, and how complicated it is, and how strangely how the strange effect it has on the show. You know, like, so there's elements of our show where I do feel like my humanity is being overtaken by all of this technology, you know, and I guess that in some ways is a reflection of you know, some of the meaning of the songs as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. If you take the concept of the album and the way that the tour is going, and the tour is being put forward to the public, could you agree that this might be, well, Drones might be this generation's The Wall?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know about that. I think that, I mean, I think music itself was in the 60s and 70s the medium of music was probably had bigger exposure and more influence over people than it does now. You know, I think nowadays people have so many different songs and different pieces of music, and they also have so many different types of entertainment that I'm not sure if music has the same dominating effect that it had back then. But yeah, I guess you know, from a metaphor point of view, it's similar in some ways, yeah, to a modern version of The Wall, I guess. Yeah, it has something in common. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, looking forward to the show tonight.
Cool.
Thanks for talking to us.
Thanks so much. Cheers.
Thank you very much.